Okay, Assalamualaikum, selamat petang. Okay, so hari ni yang cikgu janji minggu lepas kita akan masuk tajuk Form 4 kan. Iaitu saya mula dengan 2.2 lah, iaitu motion graph. Bab 1 tu itu macam this is like pengenalan sahaja kan. Macam mana nak lukis graf, apa hubungan graf, iaitu lebih kurang macam maths je, right? Okay, so now we will start, right? Okay, so I forgot to give the notes, right? So for this one. Okay, so I will share later lah, right? For this note for 2.2. Okay. You want this note or I mean like is it okay because this one is a form 4 topic, right? So you still want this note? If yes, then I will forward in the group.
Yes.
Yeah, you still want, right? So I will give it in the group later. Okay. Alright, so for today, right. Okay, so for today, what we're going to learn is actually to interpret the type of motion from the following. So actually for physics, there are two types of graph, okay? So the first one is a displacement time, okay, displacement time. And the second one is a velocity time. And another one, acceleration time, is actually is come from the velocity against time, that you can develop a new graph that is acceleration against time, okay? So what you do, you analyze the displacement time graph, how to determine the distance, the displacement, and also the velocity. And then for the velocity time graph, how to determine the distance, displacement, velocity, and acceleration. Okay, and you have to convert and sketch, right? They say they ask you from the velocity against time graph, right? They ask you to sketch the graph for acceleration against time. Okay, so that is what we learn on this subtopic. Okay. Actually, before we start, right, let me show you the difference, right, between the distance and also displacement. So generally, we know lah, distance is the scalar while the displacement is the vector, right? So vector means they have the magnitude and also the direction. Okay, which way does it move? Okay, so example, right? Example, let's say if I have, let's say this is a ball, right? And it moves to the right, okay? Let's say it's a move around like 5 meter. Okay, so for this one, okay, for this one, right, we say that the ball, I said the ball move, okay, with the distance of 5 meter, right? So that it means, okay, the ball move with distance of 5 meter. Okay, so this is the first sentence. So what is actually this one? 5 meter is actually what? Distance or displacement? Okay, so this is distance. Why? Because they don't have the direction. Okay, but let's say if I put the ball move with the distance of 5 meter to the right, now they have a direction. Now means the 5 meter is not the scalar, is now it become a vector because it has a magnitude and also the direction. Or sometimes they give you like this 3, okay, 3, and then this one 4. Okay, let's say this is A, B, C. So let's say Ali want to go from A to A to C, but it has to pass through the point B. Okay, so what is the distance? Okay, so the distance is 7 km. Okay, let's say Ali I want to go to point C, okay, from point A to point C, but it has to pass through the point B. So 3 times plus 4, you got 7 kilometer. Okay, but let's say they ask you what is the displacement? Okay, what is the displacement? So displacement means the shortest way, the shortest distance. Okay, the shortest distance. Okay, for the shortest travel distance. Okay, but in a specific direction. So it must have the direction. So means if they want to go from Ali want to go from A to C, the shortest distance is here, right? Okay, so this one you use the theorem Pythagoras. So 3, 4, and this one you will get 5 km. So this 5 km we call it as the displacement, okay, when you must have a directions. Okay, so that is the difference between the distance and also displacement. Distance is a scalar without the direction, while the displacement is the magnitude with the direction. And also they also have the meaning of the displacement is the shortest distance, okay, travel in the specific direction. Why the distance means the total length travel, only that, okay, don't have a directions. Okay, so for for motion graph, you will get information about how far something has traveled, right? How fast it's moving, and also the speed changes with time. I mean, this one you can draw the graph. Okay. Right. So let's see example. Okay. All right. So now a man is jogging along a 50-meter track, right? So this is the graph, right? Okay. So mean at 5 seconds, okay, at 5 seconds, during the 5 second, it travel 10 meter. If 10 second, it travel 20 meter. Okay, and 50 second, it travel already 30 meter. And for 20 second, they travel 40 meter. While at 25 second means he already reached, right? The end of the track. Okay, so 50 meter. All right, so this is called as the, okay, so T5 here, T10 here, T15 here, T20 here, and T25 is here. Okay, so it says here a displacement time graph indicates the position of an object at any time of the motion. So it shows you where is the object. Okay, let's say for T15, where is the object? It means it's 30 meter. So that's how we read this kind of graph. Okay, all right. So now they change. Okay, they say okay, let's say now the speed, right? I mean the man, okay, the man increase the velocity, right? When you jogging, it increase the velocity. So then we make a new graph. So let's say at usually for 10 during 5 second, right? During 5 second is 10 meter, right? But now 5 second it can reach until almost 30 meter. Okay, so mean is the man jogging faster lah, right? Okay. Then after that, we make another graph. So this one is another graph. Maybe jogging faster. Okay, if compare like for this one. Okay. So it's just label back. Okay, so T20 second, T25. Okay, now it's jogging slower. Okay, wait. Okay, now it's jogging slower. Okay, so this one is jogging faster. You can see at 5, we take, let's say I take one time, let's say 5 second, right? So 5 second, if it's jogging slower, it doesn't reach, right? It doesn't reach even like I think 5 meter only, right? 5 meter only when it's 5 second. But let's say it's just normal jogging, it can reach until 10 meter. During 5 second, it already reached 10 meter. But then if they say it's jogging faster for 5 seconds, it already reached almost like 25 seconds. Okay. So what does the gradient of the graph represent? Okay, so you need to remember this one, the jogging faster, then the time is less lah, right? Okay, so next, okay, so what does it mean here? All right, so it says this is the exercise. Okay, actually, the gradient of the graph is represent the velocity. Okay, so when you mention about the gradient, one thing in physics, right? When they mention about the gradient, they must have a triangle, right? Even like you answer in your paper, your Amali, right? I think you already done maybe a few times, right? The Amali exam, okay? So when the question mention about the gradient, you must draw the triangle. Okay, so the triangle, let's say if I take this one, the red one, so you take 2 point, two coordinates. So let's say usually we will take 0, 0. Okay, that's the coordinate that easy for you to read, right? So this one is 0, 0. Okay, and this one, let's say I take this one. Okay, so another point. Okay, so what you have to do is you just underline like this. Okay, and from here like this. Okay, so from the first point here, go downward until it reach the axis, the x-axis. And this one, okay, from the 0, 0, the second point, then you just underline until it intersects. So now you have your triangle. Okay, but the size of the triangle is one thing. They have to be 4 times 5, right? I think that one you already know. Your teacher already mentioned about that one. Okay, the size of the graph must be 4 times 5 or 5 times 4. Okay, so it cannot be smaller than that. Did you already know about that for paper 3? Oh, sorry. Did you already know about that? I mean, your size of the triangle when you answer paper 3. No. Sure. Huh? Tak. So mean your teacher didn't like ever mention that for paper 3, what is the size of the graph that you need to underline, and then how to find the gradient and the unit, and what is the precaution that you can write, how to do the graph, what is the scale that you cannot use, all of that you didn't know. Oh. Sebab itu basic sebab kalau they did mention the triangle need to be big lah. So yeah, need to be big, but I mean like how much how big that is they didn't mention lah. Oh. Alia? No. Tak ingat. Okay, tak apalah. Next time lah. Next time I will give you a sample. Okay, let's say I give you a one questions. Okay, we try to do it in the class. Okay, for paper 3. But I think that one I give before that I think that the experiment have to be done first. But this one I already got data. Okay, I use the the past year exam. You know, not the new one, the KBSM one. That one they have already the data. Then they just draw. I mean, like it's just like your skill. Okay, so maybe we can do it next week. I think. Okay, we do next week. Sayang kalau tak tahu kan sebab dia 15 like 15 marks, right? Even like 15 marks also actually is quite many. Okay, so that's it. All right, so the gradient is actually involving the velocity. Okay, so means the gradient represent the velocity. Okay, and the how to find the gradient, of course you have to draw the triangle, then you find the gradient. What is the formula for the gradient? Okay, this one you learn in maths, I think from 3, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this is the formula for the gradient. Okay, so you just find 2 points, then you just minus it, okay, and divide it. Okay, then the unit, so the unit must be the y-axis unit divided by the x-axis unit. So what is the unit? The unit is actually for at the back, not in this one. This one is a symbol. Okay, so you have to take at the back, right? So means m over s, right? So y is m, okay? The unit of y axis is m, and then the x-axis unit is s. So m divided by s, you will get m as -1. As you already know, m as -1 is the unit for velocity, okay? This one, they use displacement. Displacement against time, the gradient is velocity. But if they use distance against time, that one is the gradient is speed. So you need to see the y-axis. If they give you a displacement, then it's a velocity. But they give you the distance against time, that one is speed. Okay, it's not same. Okay, we move to the next part. Okay, so it says here, calculate the gradient of the graph. Okay, so this is the graph. Okay, you have to draw another graph. So this one is a positions against time. All right, so calculate the gradient of the graph. So this is m is y2 minus y1. This one I already put it here. Okay, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, so this one is 550, sorry. This one is 0. So you just minus 50 minus 0, 5 minus 0. So you will get 10. Okay, but like I said, okay, they must have the unit, right? So ms -1. How do I get ms -1? Y-axis unit divided by x-axis unit. That's how you find the unit for the gradient. Let's say for paper 3, you only do, let's say you put it here 10 only. You will lose 1 mark. Okay, because for physics you have to remember, physics the unit is very 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 important, especially in paper 3. Yes. Because when I marking paper 3, saya ada menanda. Tahun lepas saya menanda kertas 3 untuk amali lah. So kertas 3 SPM. Jadi memang even they change, right, because last year is the first year I think. So memang dia ada berubah lah. Maksudnya they still keep the old schema. Maksudnya they still use the old one. Cara penandaan. Whatever it is, unit sangat penting dalam paper 3. Okay, sangat-sangat penting. So you have to be sure how to get the unit, right? Okay, so you got, let's say you put 10 here, then it's wrong. You only got 2 marks. If the first mark is actually for the size. You must have a triangle. One triangle size 1 mark. Okay, let's say you draw a triangle and the triangle is big enough, 1 mark. The second one, you substitute the point. Okay, you substitute the point correctly, right? Coordinate correctly, 1 point. Okay, so and another one, the last one, and the last mark is for the unit, and also the answer must be correct. So let's say you got 10 only, then you lose your third mark. Okay, because usually for the gradient, the total marks is 3 marks. Okay, so I teach you how to get the marks. So what is the unit? So I already teach you M over S is ms negative 1. So what is the physical quantity? It shows by the unit is a velocity. Okay. Oh wait. All right. So now we have, they say there's a lot of type, okay, for the displacement against time graph. Okay, the first one, if the displacement is not changing. The second one, when it's increasing, or we call it as a directly proportional. Okay, or maybe the graph is curved like this, right? It's curved like this, or maybe it curved like this, right? So S against T. So how do we determine, okay, what is the velocity? Okay, so how do we know? Okay, how do we know that what is the velocity represent? Whether the velocity increase uniformly or maybe zero, right? Okay, so let's see for the first type of graph. Okay, so if you can see here, the distance, the displacement is not changing throughout the time. Okay, it's not changing. So if I try to draw the triangle, so now you have to remember the best, how to know the velocity, whether it's increase or decrease. Draw triangle. So if I can draw the triangle, okay, on the graph, and you have to see the size of the graph, whether it's increase or decrease. So I will teach you that one. So this one, can you draw a triangle? There is no way you can draw the triangle, right? There's no way you can draw the triangle. No, you're gonna draw the triangle. So if you cannot draw the triangle, means the gradient is 0, right? So, and you already know the gradient for the graph displacement against time is equals to velocity. So if the gradient 0, the velocity also must be 0. So what does it mean? It means that the object is not moving. Okay, it's not moving. Okay, so means the object is at rest, like this one. Okay. Okay, now we see for B, right? For B. So let's say if you have a question, you can just raise up your hand, because I cannot see the screen now. Raise up your hand, or you can just open your mic, okay? All right, for B, it says the object move at constant speed. How do we know that it move at constant speed? Okay, so I said just now, you need to find the gradient, right? If you want to know what type of motion, find the gradient. So how to find the gradient? Draw the triangle. Okay, so it doesn't need to find the value, like find the gradient, like put it in this one, like do the calculation, no need. Okay, you can just draw simply like this. If I draw the triangle here, you can see the size of the triangle is same, right? I mean, it's uniform. Okay, the size of a triangle is same. Okay, so if the size of the triangle is same, it means the gradient also same, because triangle represent the gradient. So size of triangle same means the gradient same. Okay, the gradient represent what? The gradient represent the velocity. So means the gradient is same, means the velocity also same. But we didn't put same lah, the same velocity. We just put uniform velocity or constant velocity. Right, so it says here the straight line of the graph has a positive gradient. Okay, and if they ask you to find the value, then you can use the formula of the gradient y2 minus y1, s2 minus s1. This one like I used just now. Okay, and then you can get the answer lah. Okay, so this one is means the move with the constant velocity. Because if I draw the size of the triangle same, it means the gradient same. Okay, size of triangle represent gradient. Gradient represent the velocity for the displacement against time graph. Okay, so this one same. So, okay, I think you have no problem for B. Okay, so let's say you don't understand, you can just raise up your hand there. So, next one for C. Object move with acceleration. So, how do we know that it move with the acceleration? So, this is the graph. Okay, I don't know where's the diagram is, but this is the graph. Okay, so remember I said, how do we know that it move with accelerations? I mean, acceleration means the velocity increasing, right? Accelerate means the velocity is increasing. Okay, so I draw the triangle here. Right. What you can see the size of the triangle. It become bigger, right? The size of the triangle become bigger. So when the size of the triangle become bigger means the gradient increase. So the gradient represent what? The gradient represent the velocity. So means the velocity is increasing. So in other words, we can say that the object experienced the acceleration. Okay, so means the object is acceleration. So they say they ask you to state the type of motions. Then you already have to know, you have to draw the triangle. Okay, and then you have to see what type of graph is displacement against time. The gradient represent the velocity, right? And the velocity against time, that one we will talk about it later. Okay, so this is the type C graph. Okay, now this is just like a summary. So this one is object at rest. Okay, we already discussed. This one constant velocity because the size of triangle is same. And this one increasing velocity because the size of triangle is increasing. Okay, so increasing velocity, or we can say here acceleration. Right? And this one, this is a fourth type of graph, right? The number 4 type of graph. So you can see if you draw the triangle becomes smaller. Okay, so when the triangle becomes smaller means the size of triangle decrease. The size of the triangle decrease, okay, means the gradient also decrease. So if the gradient decrease, what represent the gradient of the displacement against time graph? Is a velocity. So mean the velocity is decreasing. Okay, so that's the answer. Teacher, how do you want to find the increasing velocity value? Okay, actually for your level, okay, you only analyze the straight line graph. I mean like the first one and the second one, this one and this one, this one and this one, the third and fourth one. This one you need to use the, if I'm not mistaken, by differentiation, right? Yeah, you need to find that one, the curve graph. So we didn't do that, okay, in physics. So for physics, if they say for paper 3, right, if you got the curve graph, then that must be something wrong. Because for physics, what usually come out, okay, because I already teach like 15 years. So for 15 years, never come out curve graph. Always straight line. But I don't know lah, right? I don't know, maybe this year, right, they want to do change, right? But I hope not lah, okay? And I think when they give you the list of the apparatus, when your teacher got the list of apparatus, we will like already know what type of, what experiment will come out. Okay, then it's easy like to predict lah. Okay, then maybe they will make you, like practice to do that that questions, to do that amali. Okay.
Cikgu,
Yes.
if size of triangle decrease, so the gradient decrease ke?
Which one? Number 4.
Ha.
What's your question is?
If size of triangle decrease, so the gradient decrease.
Yeah, the gradient decrease. This one. Okay, jap cikgu
Ha.
padam. Alia eh?
Ha.
Okay. Alright, so I try to draw, okay? I see just now is size of the triangle, right? So if I draw the size of triangle, it say until one point I cannot draw it anymore because it's already become like flat like that, right? So the size of a triangle is decreasing, means the gradient decreasing, the velocity also decreasing because gradient represent the velocity. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, kau tak faham tanya je, saya okay je. Oh lah. Ini sebabnya saya padam eh. Ini sebab masa saya bincang masa KP kan. Sebenarnya awak pun PKP juga kan. Saya padam. Saya cuba jawab sama-sama. Tapi mungkin awak boleh cuba jawab dulu kan. Sebab awak dah belajar kan. Benda ni. Awak cuba jawab dulu. Kalau tak boleh, nanti saya akan ajar. Okay. Kita tengok awak boleh faham tak. Okay. Yang saya bagi link dulu. 89717. How is it? Class point. 89717. Okay. 9717. So try tengok. Let's say if you can answer these questions. So when you say describe the motion, you only describe, right? No need to calculate. Okay, unless they ask you to calculate. The only describe means whether you can say this one displacement against time, right? So you see when they come out, when they give you the displacement against time, you describe about the velocity. But if they give you the graph velocity against time, you describe the acceleration. Right?
Teacher, what the name of the website?
What is the name of the website? I think I give in the group, not yet. Oh, sorry, I thought I give it already. Maybe you can pin that one, make it bookmark in your laptop because we always use that website. Okay, who already joined here? Alia. So we wait for. Done? Okay, try to answer this one. Okay, let's say you cannot answer, at least let's say you just submit which, I think like which part you can answer, just submit that one. It's okay. You cannot answer all of it. I will teach you. This one sometimes come out also in the exam paper 2. Paper 1 also can come out. Okay. Okay, so Ran dah jawab. Saya bagi lagi 30 saat. Okay. Boleh? Ada tak nak submit lagi? Macam ni. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. Okay, saya check ya. Alright, so it says here, calculate the velocity of the object between A and B. Okay, velocity. So this is the graph of displacement against time, right? How you want to find the velocity? So find the gradient. How you want to find the gradient? So if you want to find the gradient, you already know the formula that you need 2 points, right? So the first one, I just take from this one and also this one. Okay, so here is 0, 0, and this one is 10, 20. Okay, 10, 20. All right, so after that, what we will do is, okay, so for B 10, 20, so the gradient, you have to find the gradient, right? So I show you the calculation here for number one. This is the formula that you need to use. X2 minus X1. So Y2, so let's say this one I put XY, Y1, X2, Y2 is 20 minus 0 divide by 10 minus 0. Okay, so the answer is 2. Okay, then of course the unit, like I said, so this one the unit is y-axis unit divided by x-axis unit. So y-axis is meter and x-axis is second. So m over s, it's ms negative 1. Okay, so that is the answer for number 1. Okay, how about number 2? Okay, this one, even like you calculate, you try to calculate, you will get 0. Okay, you will get 0 because the first thing you know, you cannot draw a triangle here. Cannot do a triangle. Of course, there is no gradient. No gradient means the velocity is 0. Okay. Okay, for number 2, just put it here. V is 0, ms negative 1. Okay, if you want, then you can also like put the using this formula also, but at the end you will get your V is 0, right? Okay, for number 3, okay, CD. So let's say I take this one and this one. Okay, find the gradient, right? So you have to have 2 points here. So C is 30, 20, and this one is 35, 0. Okay, so read the coordinate. Okay, then after that, use the formula, this one, y2 minus y1. So they say x1, y1, x2, y2. So 0 minus 20 divided by 35 minus 30. So negative 20 over 5. So you will get negative 4 ms negative 1. So what does it mean by negative? So this negative means it move, right? It moves in the opposite directions. Okay. So awak jangan fikir negative 4. Negative 4 means it move in the opposite direction. Maybe just now it goes to the left, to the right. Then if negative means it move back to the left. Okay. So that's the answer. Negative 4. Wait, I check the answer first. Alright. Ini betul. Okay. Okay, Adia tak sempat nak jawab yang tadi kan. Okay, now it says, describe the motion of the object between AB. So between AB, it moves at the constant velocity. How do I know it moves in the constant velocity? If I draw the triangle, the size of the triangle is same, constant velocity. Okay, BC, what happened at BC? So the object is at rest because I cannot do the triangle here. Or you can say zero velocity, or you can just say the object is at rest. Zero velocity means does not move lah. Okay, C and D move with the constant velocity but in opposite direction. You have to mention opposite direction. If you didn't mention, then it is wrong because you already know negative. Usually we label if the object move to the right is positive, the object move to the left is negative. Usually. No. If decreasing velocity, I panggil Sasa ke macam mana? Saya pun panggil apa? Nama awak apa sebenarnya? Lisa. So I call you Alisa lah Alisa. Okay, sorry. Cikgu ni memang berat sikit bab nama. Ambil masa sikit nak ingat. Ria saya ingat sebab saya pernah ajar dulu kan. Okay, constant velocity object is at rest. This one constant velocity. Okay, if decreasing velocity that Alisa answered just now, right? If decreasing velocity, how is the graph? It should be like this, right? Then if you draw the triangle, the size of a triangle, it becomes smaller. So it means the size of triangle smaller, the gradient smaller means the velocity also decreasing. So that's what it doesn't mean that negative 4 means it's decreasing. Negative is only to show the directions, right? It's only to show the direction. In physics, this direction because the velocity is a vector, right? So you need to have the direction, which way does it move. Okay, now the second one. Hujan ni. Okay, boleh tak? Okay. Okay. Saya bagi 30 saat lagi, tak ada saya tutup. Ada orang baru join ke apa? Macam dengar bunyi ada join. Siapa yang hantar? Lisa. Okay. Kalau awak nak jawab boleh awak type dekat chat. Dah. Baik cikgu tak tutup. Macam-macam jawapan Okay, jumlah jarak. Okay, jumlah jarak kita just tambah je semua. Betul ni 20 kan. 20 meter. Ni 20 tambah. Okay, so yang ni dia masih tak berubah lagi kan. Alright, so di 20. So sini pun masih lagi dekat 20. So jawapannya memang 20 je lah. 20 meter jarak dia. Sebab pada 10 saat dia 20 meter kan. Okay, so dia macam ni lah kalau kita draw dia punya masa dia. So 10, sini 30 kan. Okay, so kat sini mula-mulalah tempat dia contohlah dekat A lah katakan. Okay, so katalah yang ni B. So Okay, so pada waktu dia 10 saat, okay, so dia ada dekat 20 meter. Okay, so 10 dengan hingga 30 saat, dia masih ada dekat 20 meter tu. Sebab dia tak bergerak dia 20 meter tu, dia masih lagi ada dekat situ. So objek dia memang dia tak bergerak, so 20 meter. So lepas tu baru dia pergi ke bawah kan. So ke bawah ni sebenarnya dia bergerak lah ni, dia bergerak ke patah balik. So dia patah balik, bila dia patah balik maksudnya dia bergerak ke patah balik sini. So 20 tambah 20, 40 meter. Tu jarak sebab dia dah sampai kat 20 meter tadi kan. Bila kat 10 saat dia dah sampai 20 meter. Lepas tu dia tak gerak kalau perasan dia tak gerak sampai 30 saat. Tapi bila 30 saat dia balik-balik dekat sini. Dia balik ke asal balik. Nampak? Dia balik-balik ke asal. Jadi 20 tambah 20 sebab jarak dia tak ada mention pasal arah Okey, apa jumlah sesaran dia? Kosong. Sebab dia balik-balik pada asal. Dia umpama 20 tambah negatif 20. Sebab saya bagi tahu jarak ni adalah skala. So kita abaikan dia punya arah. So jarak dia gerak tadi 20 meter, dia patah balik 20 meter. So 40 meter. Okay, tetapi kalau sesaran, dia 20 meter dia gerak ke kanan Okay, lepas tu dia bergerak balik ke kiri. Sebab ini menunjukkan ni awak nampak dia kosong. Displacement dia kosong. So kosong maksudnya dia patah balik lah tu. Jadi 20 tambah negatif 20, so aku dapat 20 tolak 20 kan. So jawapannya kosong. So awak kena tengok kalau dia dekat displacement dia kosong kat sini, so means dia tu bergerak kembali kepada asal dia. Kat mana titik asal dia. So ini kembali pada A lah, 0 meter. Right? Jarak 40. Okay, hitung laju purata. Laju adalah jarak bagi masa kan. Laju adalah jarak bahagi masa. Sorry, distance divide by time. Kadang saya terlupa juga English. So distance divide by time. So for distance divide by time, right? So your distance you already calculate here is 40, right? Okay, and then your total time is 35. So 40 divided by 35. Don't leave the answer in decimal point. Okay, please don't leave your answer in decimal point. Cannot. You must have, please don't leave your answer in the fraction. Okay, you must leave your answer in the decimal point. So I will get 1.143, okay, or 1.14. So 1.14 ms negative 1. Of course, because this is a speed, right? So speed, the unit is ms negative 1. Same as velocity. Okay. But how about the average velocity? So average velocity is the displacement against time. Against time. But displacement divided by time. So your displacement is already 0 here. So even if I divide also, I will get the answer is 0. So the average velocity is 0. See, is difference, right? So you need to know what the difference between the distance and also the displacement. Displacement, you must include the direction. Okay. So this one mean when you move, it's not showing that it's a negative, right? It just show that the object is going back to the original. So if you see the graph displacement against time and you see intercept at x-axis, okay, so mean now you know that it come back to the original position like this one. Okay, you move from here, then you go back. Okay. Okay, this one is wrong, this one is wrong, this one is wrong, this one is wrong, this one also wrong, this one also wrong, this one wrong. Okay, so are you clear about this one? Okay, kalau ada apa-apa tanya je. Okay. Dia memang macam itulah, bila kita faham lain kan, keluar soalan lain. Macam tu.
Cikgu boleh share recording ni dalam group tak cikgu?
Ni, PowerPoint ni. Boleh. Nanti habis kelas saya send, boleh? Saya share.
Boleh.
Nanti dengan jawapan lah, nanti saya save ni. Saya send kat dalam PDF
Dengan recording boleh cikgu?
Recording memang saya akan record sebab ada seorang lagi yang dia join, dia tak dapat join hari ni. So tak apa, saya akan masuk dalam YouTube. I will give you the link. Saya masuk dalam YouTube. Awak nak tengok kelas-kelas yang saya ajar sebab saya pun ada kelas ajar online juga untuk kelas sekolah saya. So awak boleh tengok juga kat YouTube. Okay. Alright. So saya tak nak pergi lagi graf hal laju masa. Okay, I don't want to go to the velocity time graph. Okay, you have to be, like you must know how to answer the displacement against time first. Okay, saya bagi soalan lah. Saya rasa kot. Sekejap Sebab selalunya for the paper, for this question they come out in paper 2. Okay, so velocity times. Okay, I want to go here, the one. Kecutan. No. Okay, so let's see this question. A displacement time graph, okay, they ask you to find the velocity, right? The velocity. So from 0 to 6, 6 to 12, 12 to 20 means you need to calculate lah the gradient. Okay, so let's see this one.
Teacher kena buat B ke?
No need, B no need because B you need to sketch, only A. Okay, I give you 30 seconds more. Okay, dah. Ada yang sama, ada yang tak kan. Kita tengok. Okay, 0 hingga 6 saat. Like I said, take 2 point, right? So this one, so I label 0, 0, and this one is 6. 6, right? If I'm not mistaken, 6, 6. Okay, so you just minus it up. 6 minus 0, okay? And 6 minus, no. Wait, saya tengok balik. Dia kena garis. So macam 6. Okay, 6. Selalunya kalau dalam exam dia bagi garisan yang berkotak. Dia tak bagilah kosong macam ni. Dia bagi yang berkotak. So senang awak nak baca. So you get 1, right? MS negative 1. Okay. 6 to 12 tak payah kira, tak apa. Right, so 0 MX MS negative 1. Okay, 12 to 20. So this one you have to calculate. So this one is 12, 6. Okay, and this one is 20. 10. Okay, so let's say I take this one as y2, y1, right? So 10 minus 6 divided by 20 minus 12. So it becomes 4 by 8. So 0.5 ms negative 1. 0.5. Very good. This one, because you cannot find the gradient. How do you want to find the gradient here? Right, you cannot draw the line. Then there's no possibility for you to draw the triangle here. So in any straight line, it means the gradient is 0. Okay, for the straight line, the gradient is 0. So the gradient 0 means the velocity also 0, because the gradient represents the velocity. Alright. Okay, then the next question, it asks you to interpret the displacement against time into sketch a velocity time graph. Okay, for the 0 to 6, you get 1, right? So you can see here the graph. Okay, they underline it at 1. Okay, but then the 6 to 12 second is 0. So it on the underline of x-axis here. So because it's 0. Okay, from 6 to 12 is 0. So it have to be intercept at x-axis. Then after that, from 12 to 20, so you get 0.5. So it have to be 0.5 here. Okay, then actually they need to put it the line like this. Yeah. So kalau in the exam, they put the line like this. So this is how you interpret. Okay, this is only for the straight line. Okay, this one is only for the straight line like that. Okay, so are you okay? Let's say macam ni. Okay, for this one, I want you to do the question exercise 3 number 1. Tengok kalau let's say teruk sangat kilat dia, saya terpaksa stop lah sebab takut internet. Hari tu dah kena sambar sekali. Kita rasanya ni okey lagi, saya boleh lagi. Okay, so this one I just want you to do A and B. Yes, A and B. Yeah, this is displacement against time. Okay. Empat eh? Oh, pula. Seorang dapat 3, seorang dapat 5. Mana? Okay. So velocity of A, B and BC. So let's say I try to do AB first. Okay. So means if you want to find the velocity for the graph displacement against time means you need to find the gradient. Okay. So the gradient, find 2 point here. Okay. So 15, this is 5, 15, right? So 15 minus 0 divided by 5 minus 0. So you get 3 ms negative 1. That is for AB. Okay, for BC, yeah, I think you don't need to calculate lah, right? So it's 0 ms negative 1. But then how about the displacement? So 0 at this one, at this part is 15 meter. Okay. Then after at 10 second also is still at 50 meter. The displacement is still at 50 meter. So that's the answer. 15. Okay. So 3015. Yeah, good. Ni mungkin Alisa salah tekan calculator kot. Okay. Let's see if there's any questions. Okay, no. So, is it okay? Boleh dah? Can we go to the velocity against time? Boleh eh? So, I think it's better lah. Nampak we can already answer, right? Questions. Okay. So, for number 1, right? So, it says here plot and interpret the velocity time graph. So, just now we see displacement against time. So, now we will do the velocity against time graph. So, it says the diagram shows the car move from rest in a straight line, right? So they ask you to find the velocity when t is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So they give you this displacement and also the time. So what you have to do, you just need to divide it because v is equals to s over t, right? This one like 2 divided by 1, 2, 8 divided by 2, 4. This is the basic formula that you need to remember. Okay, so s is the displacement, time is 1. So 2 divided by 1. So 8 divided by 2. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 32 divided by 4 is 8. 50 divided by 5 is 10. Okay, so then you plot the graph. Okay, so the graph is the velocity against time. Okay, now, right, find the gradient. Okay, so again, see, again, we have mentioned about the gradient. You must have a triangle. Okay, so dia tak bagi ni, saya kena buat sendiri lah. Okay, so calculate the gradient. So if this one is 5, 8, right? And this one is 0, 0. Okay, so 8 divided by 0, 8 minus 0, 8 divided by 5, 1.6, right? So the gradient is 1.6 ms negative 2. Okay, then how about the unit? Okay. So remember I said the unit must be the y-axis unit here. Here, the y-axis unit divide by the x-axis unit. So ms, okay, m over s, ms negative 1 divide with the s. Okay, so ms negative 1. Okay, awak belajar ordinal index, right? So ms negative 1, if let's say divide means this is s power of 1, right? So it become negative 1, right? Divide means you have to minus the power. So negative 1 minus 1, you will get ms negative 2. So that's how you get ms negative 2. Okay, so this is the unit for the acceleration. Okay, just divide it. Okay, and use the index law. Okay, then what is the physical quantity? So the physical quantity is the acceleration. Okay, acceleration. Okay, then another thing is, okay, if you're the displacement against time, you can only get the velocity, right, by finding the gradient. Okay, but for the graph of velocity against time, there are two information that you can get. The first one, by using the gradient, you can find the acceleration. Okay, you can find the acceleration. And one more thing that you can find is actually the displacement. For the velocity against time, two informations. Okay, I put it here. 2 info for V against time. V against time. The first one is acceleration by gradient. Okay, I put it gradient here. Okay, and the second one is the area under the graph. That one is actually displacement. Area under, oh, tak apa, dia ada sebenarnya. Dia ada tapi terpadam. Area under graph. Okay, so that's a different. Okay, so how you want to find the area under the graph? So just like you find the you already draw the triangle just now, right? So means this is you find the area of the triangle here. You got the displacement. Okay, so I show you for number 5. We already know the physical quantity is shows by the gradient is the acceleration. Okay, so by the gradient we can find the acceleration. Okay, and then another one, okay, for number 6, it says find the area under the graph. Okay, so this is actually a triangle. So half, okay, what is the formula for the triangle? Half times base times height, right? So your base is 5, your height is 10. Okay, so it's become 25. Okay, so how do you want to find the unit? Okay, so for this one, let's say if I put this half over 1/2, they don't have unit. Okay, but 5 is a meter, right? Sorry, 5 is second, right? This is 5 second, right? And 10 is actually in ms negative 1 or m over s, right? Okay, so because we want to find the unit. Okay, so I put it here. So I write again, maybe that one not clear. So 5 is what? 5 is actually the unit is second. Okay, that is the base, right? The base unit. Okay, and then the height is the velocity here, right? How what is the value here? There is a 10, right? Oh yeah, actually it's 10 here, right? Why it comes 8? Saya salah baca ni. So 10 minus 2 kat sini. Sorry. 2 ms negative 2, not 8. But we take the last one here. Okay, sorry about that one. Number 3. Okay, so 5 second, then this one is 10 ms negative 1, or we can put m over s, right? Okay, so if I cut it off, it will be left by 50 divide by 2, you got 25. Okay, the unit is meter. So this unit is actually represent the displacement, because displacement is in meter, right? Don't put length, displacement. Okay, so are you clear about this one? Any question you want to ask? If you have question, you can just raise out or just open your mic. Okay, so saya dah bagi tahu what does it represent. Okay, so now we move to the next one. Okay, so let's see when the object is at the rest. Okay, so again at rest, can you draw the triangle here? No. Okay, so means no triangle, the gradient is 0. The gradient is 0 means the acceleration also 0, because the graph for the graph velocity against time, the gradient represent the acceleration. So since you cannot draw the triangle, so means your gradient is 0, then your acceleration is also 0. Then how about the area under the graph? Also 0, because there is no area under the graph, right? Because it's on the x-axis. Okay, and this the object is at rest. Okay, now, right, the object move with the constant speed. Okay, constant speed. So can you draw the triangle here? No, cannot draw. So means the gradient is 0. The gradient represent what? The gradient represent acceleration. So the gradient 0, the acceleration also 0. Okay, how about the area under the graph? Okay, so this one you can just calculate, right? This is just like a rectangle, right? So 2 times 10, we get 20 meter. So this is your displacement. So your displacement is represented by the area under the graph. So 20 meter. That means the object move at the 0 acceleration. Just now I tell you, right, if they give you the displacement against time graph and they ask you to describe the motion, you describe about the velocity, because the gradient for the displacement against time is a velocity. but they give you the graph for velocity against time. So you describe about acceleration. Right? So the acceleration, you cannot do the triangle, so mean is zero acceleration. Okay, now, okay, let's say this one, we draw the triangle and we can see the size of triangle is uniformly. So if the size of triangle is same, means the gradient also same, that means the acceleration also same, or we put it as the constant acceleration. Constant acceleration. How about the acceleration? So constant. Okay. How about the area under the graph? So this one we use what? Half times 3 times 18, right? Area under the graph is this one. So it's just a triangle. So 3, I think 27. Okay. So 37 meter. Now the object move in constant acceleration. Okay, for D. Okay, the object move with constant deceleration. Okay, so the graph, the gradient of the graph is same. Am I correct? Is same. Okay, so means it's constant, right? But what is the difference between this one and this one? Okay, so for this one, right, the is actually is the deceleration means the velocity is decreasing uniformly. Okay, so this one constant is still constant, right, but deceleration. Macam awak lah kan, kita bawa kereta, ayah bawa kereta kan, katalah bawa kereta 80, tiba-tiba lampu merah. So suddenly you see the red light. So what your father will do? It will press the brake, right? The car brake. So then your car move slowly, right? Move slowly. So that one is deceleration because the velocity will be decreasing until it reaches zero. Okay, so constant deceleration. Okay, and state the motion of the object. Okay, so the motion of the object is constant deceleration. Okay, so now it's time for you to answer the questions. Number 3. Okay, I want you to do for A 1, 2, 3, 4 first. Okay, since we only have like 10 minutes more. Then next week kita try jawab lah. We try to answer the rest. Lepas tu baru saya masuk yang 4.2 So next week, okay. Next week, I think we have to do it at this time also because next week at my school they have the Merentas Desa and also Hari Karnival Kusawanan. So it's at the morning, okay, on Saturday morning. So I will do the class at this time, okay, same time, right? So we try to do this one. I want to answer 1, 2, 3, 4.
Isnin ke?
Yeah, only A 1, 2, 3, 4 only.
Maknanya tuition Isnin ke minggu depan?
Tuition is still on tapi kita tangguh. Maksudnya selalu saya buat hari Sabtu kan pukul 9, betul. Tapi sebab saya ada koko kat sekolah, so saya akan buat hari Ahad. Waktu yang sama. Kita ganti hari Ahad. Macam ni lah waktu sekarang. Kalau awak tak boleh ke apa, awak inform saya early. Oh, Akbar. Boleh. Oh, nampak macam dah faham Oh, sudah. Wah, macam dia sama ni bawah dengan atas sekali Kenapa Okay. JK so you find the gradient. So 10, 20 here. So this is 0, 0, right? So I calculate, I got 20 divided by this 2, right? So 2ms negative 2. So how about KL? So KL you should get negative, right? So this is 20, 10. So 20 minus 10 divide by 10 minus 20. Am I correct? No, this one is 20, 10. So it's 10, 20. Okay, so 20, 20 minus 10, 10 minus 20, correct. So you will get 10, this one negative 10, right? So negative 1 ms, negative 2. Must have unit, tak ada unit salah. So at m, you need to count is 0. Okay, then mn. So 30, 10. This one is 40, negative 10. 30, 10, okay. So I got say 10 minus negative 10. Okay, and divide by 30 minus 40. So this will become 20. Okay, and this one will become negative 10. So it become negative 2 ms negative 2. So 2, negative 1, 0, negative 2. Yeah, this one is wrong. See, no, 2, negative 1, 0, negative 2. Okay, very good, Elisa. Okay, so you need to consider the negative also because this is the acceleration. Acceleration is a vector. So don't like ignore the negative signs. Okay. All right. So I will stop the class now. Okay. So we continue next week on the same time. Sunday, 5 to 6:30. Okay. So thank you everyone. Okay. Take care. Bye. Same form.
Thank you, teacher.
Teacher.
Bye.